Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your continued support. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenyan Statehouse was a beehive of activities. Today, the president had a very busy day. He received the president of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who paid him a courtesy call. Not only that, the president assented to two bills today. One of the bills was the Conflict of Interest Bill 2023, and another one was the Social Protection Bill 2025. That exercise was conducted in Statehouse. I don't want to go into the nitty-gritties and the details of the bill, but something very interesting happened during that moment when the president was appending his signature to sign this bill into law. The chairperson of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Dr. David Oginde, also presided there and had a very explosive prayer. Now that prayer has gone viral. And at first I was like, why? Why do Kenyans make a mountain out of a molehill? Until I listened to that prayer, and I can only imagine how Kenyans were relating with this prayer. And you will realize that there's a reason why Kenyans get overwhelmed with joy when they get someone who tells William Ruto the truth, either directly or indirectly. Kindly listen to this prayer.
Achan and his family circumvented that and did contrary to what had been laid down. You brought judgment upon them, and the whole family was destroyed. You are the same God, O Lord. When Ananias and Sapphira conspired as husband and wife to circumvent that which had been put in place by the leaders of their time, again your judgment came upon them. They dropped dead in the very presence of many people. When Judas betrayed the trust that had been given to him by his master and sold him for 30 pieces of silver, it did not benefit him. Instead, the land that he bought with that money, that is where his bust committed suicide. So today as we gather here, I know there are individuals, there may be couples, there may be families who conspire to defraud our country of the limited resources that we have as we put this law in place. I pray that as our president appends his signature on this law, that signature will be from heaven and with the force of heaven, so that those people who may be tempted to circumvent it, they will face not the justice of the land only, but also the justice of heaven.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was just a mere prayer. And that is not the first time that we've seen the clergy, presides on an occasion or over some exercise with the prayers. But this prayer really caught the attention of many Kenyans. Having listened to it, why do you think this prayer trended? Because Pastor Dr. Oginde has been trending. Now I want us to look at something, because as I said, I almost trivialized this prayer and why people, took much attention. But this is the reason, ladies and gentlemen, why this prayer has been trending. You will realize that the president was signing a bill into law, the conflict of interest, and this bill basically deals with corruption. Yeah, in a nutshell, it deals with corruption, people who engage in activities that are contrary or in line with what they are doing just to aid or as a conduit of corruption. Kenyans have realized that many a times these bills are signed into law, but there is no implementation. People don't really take them seriously. They are taken for granted. Take, for example, things like wealth declaration. It is a formality. They do not follow it to the letter. They don't help, Kenya fight corruption. They don't help in any way fighting corruption, because leaders will sign, they will take oath of office, they will carry a Bible or a Quran, but nothing happens. So that prayer pricked directly into the Ruto government, Ruto himself, and Kenyans really loved it because sometimes it is very difficult to face William Ruto and tell him, you know, this and that. And they felt that prayer was a thorn in Ruto's flesh because it kind of exposed what is happening. In other words, Pastor Oginde was reminding William Ruto that this is not just a mere exercise where you swear and then nothing happens. Number two, there's been a general feeling that William Ruto has revived a way of inviting back the clergy. Remember, William Ruto got to government by enticing the clergy. And after some time, there's a certain, especially the Catholic and ACK, that decided that they were not going to take money from the government because they felt Kenyans are suffering. This is corrupt money. The Auditor General's office and the Control of Budgets office have been revealing how there is a lot of there is massive corruption in the country and wastage. So they have decided we were not going to allow ill-gotten money into the church. They also felt that this money was being used to silence them. But there is another new norm where William Ruto is now using the same trend, giving money, especially these private churches, individual churches. They take money. Recently, when William Ruto bragged and told off people who are trying to criticize his intent to build, or rather to facelift, a church in Statehouse, many people thought this is another way of bringing this controversial trend to invite the church or the clergy to with him. So when they see a man of God facing William Ruto indirectly, and of course it was almost direct, with a prayer to remind them of their role to stop corruption and wastage, then people felt very, very nice about it because the clergy, there's a part of the clergy that has been pocketed and they are now dancing to the tune. And Kenyans were very happy that there are people, there's part of this clergy that has refused to be silenced. They stand for the truth. Because in the past and over the years, the clergy has been part of fight for change, fighting for the democratic space. People like Ndingi Mwana Nzeki, Bishop Njoya, they used to fight Moi head on, and they used to join the opposition and the human rights activists, and they fought for the democratic space, and that is the reason why together in unity they got back to the multipartism that they had been fighting for. The people are supposed to tell William Ruto the truth have become sycophants. Some part of the opposition have joined the government. They are now dancing to Ruto's tune. They behave as if they are the owners of this government. And so there is no one to look at the king and tell him that you are naked. And so when they saw Dr. Bishop Oginde facing William Ruto with that truth, they are very happy because there's been a kind of shortage of people who can tell William Ruto the truth. And when you try, the police is charged against you, or others feel that you're jealous of William Ruto. And then people were also happy that the doctor, people are very happy that Dr. Oginde showed William Ruto that we are not as gullible as he thinks. You know, there is a general feeling from the government quarters that you can lie to all people all the times. When you listen to the president, he feels that he can still initiate the very methods, the theatrics he used during his campaigns, promises. The other day he was telling us that he has been God sent to change our country. So he wants to use the same. And when Bishop Oginde made that prayer, then Kenyans felt, yeah, it is good to remind him that we are not fools as he think. You should not think that just by appending a signature, then it ends there. And that prayer, because William Ruto has always poised himself as a man of God, that prayer had a repercussion that if you don't do this, you are reminded of consequences like death. So that we don't use the Bible for granted. William Ruto and the government has continued to use the name of the God falsely. Anytime there is something they've been cornered, they invoke the name of the Lord. And I think the bishop reminded them that they should not be using, the Bible in vain. And that is why I think this was trending. What do you think about that prayer? And why do you think Kenyans were very happy? There's a general feeling that corruption has eaten and continues to eat into the public coffers. A government that came into power after criticizing the former regime that they got empty coffers. But now, and those are not our words, like I said, the independent institutions continue to reveal that there is massive corruption and wastage. William Ruto himself, after Gen Z's protest in 2024, last year, called for a press conference and told us, I will stop this, I will stop this, I will stop this wastage. He knows himself that there's a lot of corruption. And I think that's the reason why Kenyans are happy. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen?